to Podnutz Daily for September 8th, 2008, episode number 72. And that is almost 3/4 of 100. Just so you know. The 100th Podnutz Daily is going to be a milestone achievement, and I'm going to celebrate it somehow. I just don't know how yet. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss that. Had a computer in today that, let's see, it kept blue screening. Okay, now I remember. It was a Dell Dimension desktop, probably about 2 years old. Kept blue screening with the IRQ not less than equal blue screen. And this computer had come in a couple weeks ago with a similar problem. It was blue screening, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't start at all. And now it's we fixed it, and then all of a sudden it was blue. Now it's just blue screening. It's at random times. Originally, what I did to fix it was I pulled out a stick of RAM. One stick of RAM was causing it not to boot at all. Pulled out that stick. Now the customer got it back. They were using it and said they were getting this blue screen. Well, we pulled it back. We tried all kinds of things, and we couldn't quite pin down what it was. Now, usually when you get the IRQ not less or equal error, and in my experience, a lot of times it's RAM. The RAM is bad, or needs to be replaced, or needs to be just reseated, or something like that. So I thought it was that, but we tried a couple things. It didn't work, and all right, we just said, all right, we're just going to do a reinstallation, system recovery. So we did a Dell system recovery from the partition that's on the Dell hard drive, which you get to by doing Control F11. And which is it's a ghosted partition, or a ghosted recovery partition. It takes about 10 minutes to load. It's awesome if you ever need to do it, but it's not real fun if you don't have to do it and you're doing it just because it's your last resort. Well, we did that. Everything was fine, and then we got the blue screen again with the IRQ error. Well, I have never really run extensively like memory tests or system tests too much, and I know there's one called Mem Test. I hardly use that as well. But I just had a feeling it was the memory that was bad. Dell has a utility partition you can get to by going to the boot menu and then booting to what's called the utility partition. It's in the boot menu, and that has all kinds of system tests built in. It's a really cool tool that Dell has built into their newer machines. So we ran memory tests from that utility partition, and it told us which memory stick was bad. And in fact, one was bad. It told us which one was bad and which slot it was in. And we pulled that out. Everything ran fine after that. So I'm going to be using memory testing a lot more, especially when I get the IRQ error, because it'll tell me exactly what memory stick is bad. Anyway, that was the main problem with the whole thing. I mean, we didn't even have to do the reinstallation. It was, but now we know. Had another Dell laptop. This laptop, customer said, wouldn't start. Now, I want you guys to figure this one out. I'm not going to tell you the solution. He brought it in because he said it was dead as a doornail, wouldn't start. Okay, let's see, how can I phrase this so it's like a puzzle for you guys? So I called him on the phone. I said, it won't start? Because I said, I got it to start. And he's like, well, here's what happened. He's like, I gave it to my nephew. My nephew used it for a while. He got an error on the screen at one point saying the battery was about to die, and you should replace or charge the battery. Well, he bypassed that error. The system went for another couple minutes and then died. The kid went and bought a new battery, put the new battery in. System still, when it came up, it ran for about half an hour and then it died. Now, the AC adapter was in the whole time, but the system kept dying and the battery was not charging. Well, what do you guys think that would be? I'll give you a second to think about it in your own mind, and since you can't really answer me, I'm going to tell you. It's the AC. It was the AC adapter. I plugged in a working AC adapter and another thing. Things started right up. So what must have happened was, and the power jack in the thing was actually good. So it wasn't a power jack problem. It was actually the adapter. The adapter must have died, or the cable must have got broken somehow. The cord must have got cut somehow. AC adapter died. Then the battery wasn't charging. System was shutting down. So the kid went and bought a new battery, which he didn't have to do because it was the AC adapter that was the problem. So when he put the new battery in, the system, of course, ran for another half an hour or so and then died again. So there's probably 2 working batteries, and he just needs a good AC working adapter, and he'll be fine. Okay, if anybody watched the Philly Tech guys this Saturday, wasn't really that great. Me and Mike talked about it. We're going to do a do-over. He's not even going to release the audio recording. It was kind of a flop. And here's why. We had like 0 preparation time. We had no internet connection. At the last second, Mike had to whip out his Verizon wireless card, and we had to use that, so Ustream kept cutting out. We were not in the schedule for PodCamp Philly, so nobody was in the room. Even though we jokingly pretended there was people watching us, there wasn't, and then 2 people walked in mid-podcast. It was just a disaster. So that's not how we want to have Philly Tech Guys. Philly Tech Guys is going to be a quality show. It's going to have structure, and it's going to be fun to watch and listen to. So we're going to redo that at Mike's house, and it's going to be a little different this time. So if you missed it, don't worry. It wasn't that good. What was good was PodCamp Philly. If you guys have a PodCamp in your area, you got to check it out. It's not just for podcasters; it's for bloggers or it's people interested in tech. If you are a podcaster, you will love it. If you ever want to get or interested in getting into podcasting, you will love it. I had a great time. There's people like you and me who are actually the speakers in some cases, telling you how they set up their podcast. So I'm going to try to be a speaker at next PodCamp Philly, and then I don't know what my topic is going to be, but it's going to be about podcasting, how I started Podnutz or something like that, and I'm just going to give all my tips, tricks, and whatever I know on how to get a good podcast up and running. Well, that means if you think this is a good podcast. If you don't think this is a good podcast, then I'll tell you how to get a bad podcast up and running. All right, let me go over another computer here. Last one we had at the shop. Another system. I'm just reading my notes here. Another system blue screened. Okay, had a system here that was blue screening at the same spot during Windows XP startup. System would start up. You see the Windows XP. This was a desktop, by the way, a Pentium 3. Would start up. You'd see the Windows boot up screen. You'd see the little bar scrolling across. Then right at the part where it flips over to the screen that says welcome, or the screen that has the logons, right at that part, the system would blue screen. Now, I noticed it was at that part, but I wasn't really fully working on it. I was working on another machine at the time, so I was kind of looking over every once in a while. It kept blue screening at that one part. What did we do? We ran check disk. Didn't work. We ran fixboot. Didn't work. We ran check disk /R. Didn't work. We ran a Windows repair. Now, in almost all instances that I know of, a Windows repair would at least get you through the boot up process. But it didn't even finish the boot up process. Kept still blue screening at the same point. We did a reinstallation, which was actually a parallel installation, where I reinstalled Windows into a folder called Windows 2. So the original Windows installation is still on the hard drive, but I put a parallel copy of Windows on there, and it worked. What I think it was is a video driver problem on the original Windows installation, because every time it flips from that Windows boot screen over to the desktop screen, it actually changes resolution, and that's the point where it kept blue screening. And I have a feeling it's a video driver. I'm going to go back and check it tomorrow, but I guess I'm bringing it up as a tip